At least 3 people are dead and 20 more injured from a Russian strike. It hit the city of Sumy. The regional military administration says a medical facility, residential building, and vehicles were all damaged in that attack. Ukraine's president issues a personal plea to President Trump as Moscow ramps up its air attacks on civilian targets.
Greg Palcott has more from London.
Another night of brutal Russian strikes on Ukraine as Moscow ramps up its air attacks on civilian targets. More than 100 drones were fired, causing death and damage in at least 8 towns and cities. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy now pleading with President Trump to put more pressure on Vladimir Putin to force him back to the bargaining table.
I really want our American partners to take strong steps to pressure the Russians into a ceasefire with strong sanctions. They won't understand any other way.
Those sanctions could be coming soon. A bipartisan bill is now making its way through the Senate, but it's still not clear if President Trump will sign it or continue America's military support for Ukraine.
Too many people have died, and the president wants this war to end at the negotiating table, and he's made that very clear to both leaders, both publicly and privately.
NATO Secretary General now working to reassure anxious European allies that the U.S. will remain in the fight.
I get 2 questions from European allies. Question 1 is the U.S. still committed to NATO? The answer is yes.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainians pulled off another big covert attack on Tuesday, hitting the main bridge linking Russia to Crimea, a day after taking out a third of Russia's long-range bombing fleet in a drone attack.
That's how I think Ukraine potentially can bring peace to this region, because they're demonstrating that carrying on the war will be highly costly to the Kremlin.
Russia still hasn't responded to an offer from Ukraine to resume peace talks later this month. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox 32 Chicago. Brian and Sylvia, back to you.